the author said, Suratul Aadiyaat, the Qur'anic chapter called Al-Aadiyaat, the Galloping Warhorses. Mukhtalafun fiha. They differed about if it is a Meccan surah or a Madani surah. وهي 11 آية. It consists of 11 verses. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Wal-Aadiyati Dabiha. By the galloping war horses who pant strongly. Aqsama bi khaylil ghuzah. In this ayah, Allah swears by the war horses of the Muslim invaders. Ta'adu fatudbih. Ta'adu fatudbih. Ta'adu fatudbih. They gallop, and they are, while galloping, panting. وَالضَّبْحُ صَوْتُ أَنفَاسِهَا. What's meant by panting is the sound of their breaths. إِذَا عَدَوْنَا. The sound of their breaths when they are galloping. وعن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما أنه حكاه. It was reported from Ibn Abbas that he spoke about this ayah. فقال and so he mimicked the sound or demonstrated what's intended by saying by the galloping war horses. وانتصاب ضبحا على يضبحن ضبحا. The meaning here is that they pant, a panting. They pant, a panting. Yani that's something in Arabic. It's more clear in Arabic what's intended there. By the war horses who pant, a panting, which is the sound of their breathing as they run. فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا. Then by those war horses that ignite sparks as they gallop. That's not easy to translate for me. توري نار الحباحب وهي ما ينقدح من حوافرها. Loose translation here. Sparks come out of the ground as they gallop. When their hooves hit the ground, sparks come out. قدحا قادحات صاكات بحوافرها الحجارة. When their hooves strike the stones, sparks ignite. والقدح الصك. The qadh that's in the ayah, فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا. The qadh is the impact. وَالْإِيرَاءُ إِخْرَاجُ النَّارِ. And the ira, the ignition is, which is contained in فَالْمُورِيَاتِ. That is bringing the fire out, bringing the sparks out. تقول قدح فأورى وقدح فأصلد. You say in Arabic, he struck and ignited something. Like, what do you do with a match? You strike it, and then it ignites. وانتصب قدحا بما انتصب به ضبحا. And qadhan here with the fatha, the meaning is just like what we said about the first ayah. Striking a strike. فَالْمُورِيَاتِ, Allah swears by the igniters. Those are those galloping horses. The igniters. Striking. Strikes. As they gallop. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا تغير على العدو الصبح في وقت الصبح. And by the invaders at dawn, those horses that are invading, of course means their riders are invading. Those horses that are invading the enemy in the dawn, the time of dawn. فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا, and thus they affect the dust. فَهَيَّجْنَ بِذَلِكَ الْوَقْتِ غُبَارًا, at that time they agitate the dust and they raise it up. فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا, and then they circle. Then at that time a group. بذلك الوقت جمعا من جموع الأعداء ووسطه بمعنى توسطه. So I don't really have to translate that. فوسطنا به أي بذلك الوقت. So at that time they circle, they enclose a group of the enemy. وقيل الضمير لمكان الغارة. And it was said that instead of meaning at that time they circle a group, it means at that place they circle a group. فوسطنا به. At that time. That's how we first said it. Or it means at that place. Or it means by that running, by that galloping. فَوَسَطُنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا, and they circle by that galloping a group. وَعُطِفَ فَأَثَرْنَا عَلَى الْفِعْلِ على الفعل الذي وضع اسم الفاعل موضعه لأن المعنى واللاتي عدون فأورين فأغرن فأثرن. And in these verses there's something that happened in the language, which is here. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبِحًا, by the gallopers, panting. So gallopers, what's intended here, that's a noun. That's a noun. It's an adjective describing those horses, the gallopers. فَالْمُورِيَاتِ قَدْحًا, and by the igniters, those galloping horses. That's another noun describing those horses. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, by those invaders, meaning the horses. That's another noun, a third noun. Those invaders at dawn. فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا, thus they raise up the dust. Here, this is a verb, فَأَثَرْنَا. So what happened here is that this verb was conjuncted to link to nouns. So usually you're going to link a noun to a noun. You'd say, for example, I saw Sam and Fred. So it's a noun linked to a noun. Or you'd link a noun to a verb, or you'd link a verb to a verb, like you say, I saw Sam running and swimming. So running, that's a verb. Swimming, that's a verb. Running and swimming. What happened here is that a verb was conjuncted to nouns. Allah swears by the gallopers and the igniters and the invaders. In the Arabic it works فَأَثَرْنَا, and they affect the dust. That's because these adjectives are like verbs. That's because these adjectives, which are nouns, they are like verbs in meaning. So it was valid to conjunct a verb to them, because galloper means those who are galloping, so it has the meaning of a verb. Igniters means those who are igniting. Invaders means those who are invading. So they have the meanings of verbs, although they're nouns. And so it was valid to conjunct a verb to those nouns. But if you translate that into English, maybe it doesn't really show up as clearly as it is in the Arabic, how the conjunction is working there. So then Allah swore by these war horses and described them. What's being sworn about? وَجَوَابُ الْقَسَمِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ. Indeed, the human to his Lord is certainly ungrateful. Indeed, the human to his Lord is certainly ungrateful. Lakanud, ay lakafur, very ungrateful. Ay innahu li ni'mati rabbihi khususan la shadidul kufran. This means that the human being, concerning the endowment of his Lord in particular, is extremely ungrateful, unappreciative. وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. And indeed he, meaning the human, وَإِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ, the human being, to that, أي على كنوده لشهيد, is certainly a witness. And certainly the human to that ungratefulness is indeed a witness. يشهد على نفسه, he's a witness against himself to his ungratefulness to his Lord. أو وإن الله على كنوده لشاهد, or the pronoun goes to Allah, وَإِنَّهُ أَيْلَهُ, and indeed he, meaning God, عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ, to that ungratefulness is certainly a witness. عَلَى سَبِيلِ الْوَعِيدِ, and if that's God, then this is a threat. The human being is certainly ungrateful, very, very ungrateful to his Lord. And indeed, Allah is a witness. That's a threat. وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. And indeed, he, for the love of money, is certainly intense. So, the human being. وَإِنَّهُ لِأَجْلِ حُبِّ الْمَالِ لَبَخِيلٌ مُمْسِكٌ, meaning that the human being, because of his infatuation with money, is certainly a miser and one who holds back. He withholds so that he can keep his money. أو وإنه لحب المال لقوي وهو لحب عبادة الله ضعيف. Or it means the human being, indeed, he has a strong infatuation with money, but when it comes to the worship of his Lord, he is weak. Imagine if a person put the effort that he puts for gaining money for the worship of his Lord. Because some people, as they call them, are workaholics all day, motivated by acquiring money. They might even have enough money for the rest of their lives. They might have enough money that they don't have to work for another day in their life, but they still work to get more money. أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور. Does he not know, al-insanu, the human being, does he not know when, about that what is in the graves shall come forth? Min al-mawta wa ma bi ma'na man, meaning who is in the graves shall come forth. The dead who are in their graves shall come back to life and then come forth. وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. And then the secrets that were locked away in the chests shall be harvested. مُيِّزَ مَا فِيهَا مِنَ الْخَيْرِ وَالشَّرِّ. And whatever good was in those hearts shall be distinguished, and whatever evil that was in those hearts shall be distinguished, shall all come out and be exposed on that day. Inna rabbahum bihim yawma idhil khabir. Indeed, their Lord of them on that day is certainly all-knowing. لَعَالِمٌ فَيُجَازِيهِمْ عَلَى أَعْمَالِهِمْ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ وَالشَّرِّ. And so he shall pay them for their deeds of good or evil. وَخُصَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِالذِّكْرِ وَهُوَ عَالِمٌ بِهِ فِي جَمِيعِ الْأَزْمَانِ. And although Allah is all-knowing of them at all times, that day was mentioned in particular, that he's all-knowing about them on that day. That was mentioned in particular, لِأَنَّ الْجَزَاءَ يَقَعُ يَوْمَئِذ, because that's when the payment shall be, the payment for the good and bad deeds. وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ, and Allah knows best.